Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got a different type of agriculture today. This agriculture has added a lot of wealth to a lot of farmers, believe it or not. And a lot of people, when you think about farming, you won't think about this, but I'm here today in Oil Springs at the Oil Museum of Canada. And what we're going to do, we're going to visit the first well in North America, probably maybe one of the first wells in the world. We'll find out from Christina here today. And I've got my key grip here, Wes, with me today. How are you, Wes?
Pretty good.
That's good. Wes is filming in for Jerry. Jerry usually key grips for us, but unfortunately Jerry's gone to he's away fishing, believe it or not. This week's his week to go fishing, so Wes is here filming in for him as our key grip. We always have to have a key grip, and not always on site, but quite often virtually, and Jerry's been doing that, and he's off this week. Anyway, when Christina comes back, we're going to go and see the first oil well, and we'll see how this oil thing all works. And we have Christina, and I can't pronounce your last name. Sadorko, and she's the education coordinator?
I'm the educational program coordinator here for the Oil Museum of Canada.
Perfect. And you're going to take and show us the first oil well?
Yeah, so we can go see the first oil well. It's the place where Canada really got its industrial start. It is the first place in North America where they were harvesting raw crude for commercial purposes. So we can go take a look. It's just right over here, and I can show you where the oil is still coming out of the ground today.
Now, are we going to see Jed Clampett or anything over here?
No, unfortunately, we're not going to see the Clampett, but we do have a bubbling crude coming out of the ground. So it's coming out of the grass. Let's take a look at that first, because that's really how this site got its start. You can physically step in the oil. It's really pronounced. You can smell it, you can see it, and that's how people found it. So if you just come right over here, it's coming up through the grass. It's been doing that for about 10,000 years. So these are the gumbeds of Oil Springs. So if you look right down here, this is oil. So you can see where it is bubbling up. So this is fresh oil that came up this morning. It's soft and fluid, and you can feel it and touch it. So you can see this bubble popped yesterday, and this is what's oozing out of the ground.
Here's one here.
Yeah, so you can see this. These are the gumbeds. So this is a really thick oil that's mixed with clay, but this is just oozing right out of the ground, and it's been doing so for many years. And this entire landscape used to be covered in a thick lens of this, which was manually harvested in the 1850s and the 1860s, and this was originally used for asphalt. But today we can still see it. It's coming oozing out of the ground, and it's been doing so for many, many years. And right over here is the first commercial oil well. So this well was hand dug in 1858 by James Miller Williams. It was only 14 meters deep, which is approximately 4 meters or 14 feet. And it produced 50 barrels of crude a day. Now he took that 50 barrels of crude and he refined it into kerosene. And kerosene was the wonder chemical at that period of time. People needed light at night, and this was a safe, bright, efficient light at night. Prior to this, people were using whale oil, and there are no whales.
Not many whales
out here.
So how did he get the oil? He pumped it up? Or
so he manually pumped it up. In the beginning, they would have started by hand baling it. So they would have taken a bucket, thrown it to the bottom of the well, and hand baled it out. After that, they would have put a manual pump in. So you would have had somebody physically pumping the well, the same way that you pump water. It works on the same principles. And many of the pumps that you see here work on those same principles today. They have sucker rods with ball joints in them that are just manually sucking the oil out of the ground and sending it to storage or to barrels.
50 barrels a day is a lot of hand pumping.
It's a lot of hand pumping and it's a lot of hand baling. But remember, this is 1858. So this is the start of an industry. They didn't have engines the way that you and I would think of it then. He had to bring in steam engines to start operating it. So in the beginning, the first little while, it was hand pumped using human labor, and then they transitioned over to mechanical pumps, kind of like what you see on the museum site with these pump jacks, operating with a steam engine and a boiler man. So think about it. Well, yes, you have these engines, you still have a human being operating those boilers, chopping the wood and fueling them.
Steam would be great though, compared to doing it by hand.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
So there's this. So that's the first well. This is part of the National Heritage designation. This well is really significant because it started here before anywhere else. So before the United States, it was Canada.
Was this the first in the world then?
Not the world. We do know of people using and harvesting oil in Poland and in certain parts of the Middle East. They were using them for different purposes at that period of time. This was the first one that is vertically harvest, production, and selling by James Williams. He had the first vertically integrated company to sell this. The first petroleum company in the world, though, was still here in Oil Springs, but it was done by the Tripps. So 1852, we have the charter. 1854, we have the charter for the International Mining and Manufacturing Company that was operated by Charles and Henry Tripp to harvest the gum beds that you saw and sell it as asphalt. So they would harvest it, boil it in a giant cauldron, and then they would sell it as asphalt to pave the roads. Unfortunately, they went out of business due to poor infrastructure. Inniskillen is a swamp. It's thick, muddy clay, and there were no roads or railroads when they were doing this in 1854. It wasn't until 1858 that the Grand Trunk Rail line came in through Wyoming that they had the infrastructure to get the product to the market. And this is a problem that still exists within the petroleum industry today. How do you efficiently and safely get the raw product to market? The railways were the answer in the 1800s, and today we have to search for different solutions to these same problems.
We have that problem now with the rail in the West. They're trying to rail all the oil out of the West instead of a pipeline.
A pipeline, as far as we are aware, is the most efficient and safest because there are fewer liabilities or accidents that are possible. Rail is a wonderful solution. However, you are limited by how many rail cars you can put in, and also there are accidents and weather disturbances. You don't want a lac mégantic to happen in any communities, whereas rail is buried underground and it's continuously monitored through science to cleanly and efficiently transport it with limited impact on humans or the environment.
And safe, yeah.
It's very safe.
Okay, well let's, I'd like to go over and see the powerhouse.
Well, let's go take a look.
We've got a beautiful day to be here on site.
It is glorious. We've got the sunshine and the blue skies, and we are hoping that we can have many people come visit us. The Oil Museum is now open to the public after a year of renovations and COVID closures. So we want to welcome you back to our site, and you can come in and explore all the amazing interactive features that you can see inside the museum. We have touch screens and interactive walls, and it is a site where you can physically smell the history coming out of the ground. And
don't you have some deals going on?
We do have some deals. So the Oil Museum is really pleased to be offering that you can come and you can purchase a membership for a year, and you get 2 years for the price of one. So if you buy your membership, then you get 2 years of admission to the Oil Museum of Canada, where you can explore our sites, attend all of our special events, whether that be Black Gold Fest this July, or you can come for Halloween or Christmas at the museum. We do a lot of family activities.
Plus you could come every week.
You could come every week, and you could visit some of our sister museums like Lambton Heritage Museum or the Archives to see all the different wonderful aspects. that Lambton County has to offer in its heritage or cultural sector.
So the Grand Bend Museum.
Grand Bend Museum is included in your membership to the Oil Museum of Canada.
That's a deal.
It is amazing because we offer amazing events throughout the year. So whether it is Black Gold Fest in July, where you can see historical reenactments, you can see a blacksmith, you can experience the sights and the sounds, or whether that is coming in to Lambton Heritage Museum to see their site and their amazing history.
So Black Gold Days is coming up.
It is coming up on Saturday, July the 9th. It is an amazing day. We're going to have face painters here. We're going to have a historical reenactor reenacting the Gusher of 1862 with John Shaw. There'll be a blacksmith on site. Black Gold Brewery will be here serving beverages. The Lions will be here serving food. Come. It is a free admission day.
That's even better.
It's open to the public. You can see the new stuff, and we have many other fun activities such as button making, or you can insert yourself in historical videos or historical images.
But Jed Clampett won't be here?
No, Jed Clampett.
I keep coming back to that.
No, but
Jed's my man.
Jed's your man, but he's 100 years after us. This is our powerhouse.
This is going to be hard to see, but this would, at one time would have been steam.
It would have been steam. It wasn't converted to electricity until 1814. So, or 1818, or 1918, this was converted to electricity. In 1918, this converted from a steam powerhouse to an electric powerhouse. It runs on a 5-horsepower engine, and it has been pumping oil and the pump jacks ever since.
This is unbelievable. You've got to see this. This is well over 100 years old.
It's well over 100 years old, and it has been lovingly maintained by the staff. We have to come in here every day. We have to oil the rig. We ensure that the belts are operating. All of those little joints need to be manually oiled with an oil can by the staff.
This is interesting.
So you can see gears, you can see the bull wheel, you can see the belts, and you can really hear the mechanical operations.
So let's go outside and we'll see
Yeah.
exactly what the outcome of this pump house is.
So if we come over here, we can see the field wheels and the pitman arms operating. So inside the powerhouse, you have the bull wheel and the gears generating the mechanical energy, which is being transferred to these pitman arms. These arms work the same way that they do on a train. They go back and forth, transmitting mechanical energy from the engine to the field wheel and the jerker lines. This field wheel operates and it makes 1/4 turns. It's also known as a spider wheel because you can have jerker lines coming off any of the 360 points. So we can turn it. These 1/4 turns push and pull the jerker lines, which operate the pump jacks, pulling them up and down to suck the oil out of the ground.
And these jerker lines are all wooden.
These are all wooden. They are unique to Canada. Canada has always used, particularly in the oil springs and petroleum oil fields, wooden jerker lines. They are the preferred because we had an abundance of wood here in the oil springs area. They are made of straight wood, which we would have preferred.
This is really neat how this goes. So you could have several jerker lines.
We have records indicating that Fairbank Oil would have operated upwards of 60 wells off of one powerhouse. So you would have had spider wheels and field wheels coming off both ends, pushing and pulling these pump jacks, and then they would run parallel, and you can turn them using triangles. So using simple machines, pulleys, wheels, and gears, you can change and pivot these in any of the directions.
This is so simple.
So simple, very efficient. If it's not broke, don't fix it. They're still using all of those things. It's like a giant mechanoscent, pushing and pulling, using wheels, levers, pulleys, simple machines that you could build yourself. But it funded a multi-million-dollar industry in the 1800s. So the Fairbank Oil really put this in 1863. He was one of the first to develop this system. And the system continues to operate today in the active oil fields of Oil Springs and Petrolia. And it's efficient. And one of the nice things is it doesn't disturb the natural environment. There are a lot of wild animals, sheep, bunnies, rabbits, deer that wander through the oil fields, and we often will find birds sitting on the jerker lines gently rocking themselves to sleep.
It's amazing how simple of an idea it is and how well it works.
And it still works today.
Yeah.
It is still 1800s technology. Is still operating and making money in these oil fields. It's a living and breathing dinosaur, as Charlie Fairbank would say. So this is a pump jack, and this is the end result of those jerker lines. So you can see those jerker lines are pushing and pulling using a wheel to change the mechanical direction. And what we have is this pump jack. So you have a walking beam on the top. You have the saddle right here at the pivot point. This is known as a Samson post. And you have the bridle on one end, and you have the stirrup on the other. They're using a lot of horse terminology.
Because that's all they knew.
That's all they knew back then. But you can see it's just a simple pulley wheel changing the mechanical direction. And over here, you have your pump. So this is a stuffing box, and it's got the actual pump. So it would pull the oil up from the ground and would go to a different tank that would send it to a separating and holding tank where it would await to go to the refineries.
One of the exhibits that they have here is the Dawn Union pumping station. I guess that's what it would be, eh, Christina?
So it's the Dawn Underground Storage and Pump Station. So if we come in here, you can actually see one of the original engine and compressor units that would have taken natural gas from the pipelines and stored it underground in the reef structure that is unique to Lambton County. And this reef structure has allowed this community to become a hub for natural gas production and storage.
And really, the storing of natural gas, that's something that you'd all learn if you went through the museum.
You would really learn the story of oil and natural gas. One of the phrases that we often say here is that Oil Springs has an oil industry with a natural gas problem. So one of the things we really want to do is educate the public. Where does your gas come from? How do you use it? How is it stored? And what are the safety procedures that are involved in it? And what do you do? And how do you understand that product that comes to your home? So you can see the compressors. These compressors are from the middle of the 20th century. And these compressors, when they were decommissioned, were brought here in 1992 after 50 years of service. And today, there are new compressors that are at the Dawn site, which is not very visible from the road, but really impacts our daily lives. This is how natural gas gets from out west, from underground to your house. And you can see the different models of the pipes. This is an amazing model of what a transmission pipeline is. So the big transmission pipelines down to the pipe that goes into your house. So this illustrates how much natural gas is flowing through the system.
The other thing that would change is the pressure. Like this one down here is maybe working on 5 or 10 pounds of pressure. The big one's working on...
These ones are working on much bigger. And one of the things we want to see is you can see how thick the steel is. So to accommodate those pressures, and this is high-grade steel that is continuously monitored and tested. So these things are really tightly regulated to ensure safety to transmit oil and natural gas from wherever to its destination. And we have lots of signage in the building illustrating and telling you all about this industry.
I think we'll end it here, Christina, if that's okay with you.
I'm more than happy. I can't wait for people to come visit us. I'm here on a regular basis, and so are my amazing colleagues. And we want to welcome you to the Oil Museum. The museum is your museum. It is a safe place to ask questions, to discuss the many different controversial topics that are involved in oil and gas. But it is a place to learn and a place to question, and we want you to come and explore.
One thing I was wondering is, what's the hours here? When is open?
So the museum is open Wednesdays from 11 till 4:30, Thursdays from 11 till 8:30 at night, Fridays from 11 till 4, and we are open Saturday and Sunday this summer. In the wintertime, we are open just on Saturdays from 11 till 4:30. So we welcome you to come visit us. Call ahead if you want. If you have a large party, we'll make sure somebody's there to chat it all up. Otherwise, come watch our videos, interact with our interactive displays, see the secrets that we've hidden inside the museum. There really are awesome things to do here.
This would be a great place to go on a Sunday afternoon.
It would be an amazing place to come with the kids or the grandkids throughout the summer. There are interactive features. You can visit the train station. You can visit inside of the museum. We have a picnic pavilion. Make a day of it.
Even more important, the best time to come would be on July the 9th.
Yes, come for Black Gold Fest. There will be face painters. There will be food booths here. There will be crafts available. Black Gold Fest is a free day. Normally you do pay a small admission to the Oil Museum of Canada, $3 for students or $5 for adults. However, on Black Gold Fest Day, it's free.
And then, don't you have a family plan?
We do have a family membership, so you can buy a family membership where you can come as many times as you would like to the Oil Museum of Canada, or you can buy a family admission, which is about $15, and it's anybody that lives within your household is part of your family.
And that is good for any of the museums in Lambton?
It is good for any of the museums in Lambton, so you can buy that membership. And remember, if you buy a membership this year, it entitles you to 2 years with admission to Oil Museum of Canada or our sister museum, Lambton Heritage Museum, or the Lambton County Archives, or many of the other cultural sites here in Lambton County.
I think that's a heck of a deal.
It's amazing. You can come here at Halloween. We do trick-or-treating in the outbuildings.
That would be fun. What do you think, Bus?
Pretty good deal, I'd say.
Anyway, if you'd enjoyed this video, give us a like. And if you haven't subscribed, now would be a good time. And I want to thank you for viewing, and I'll catch you on the next one.